Okay, so here's our video of the structures of the eye and ear that you're responsible for Lab 12. And we'll start with the eye. Let's just get our orientation here. Okay, so we've got the nasal bones here, or one of the nasal bones, part of one of the nasal bones, I should say. Here's some of the frontal bone. Here is part of the maxilla, the zygomatic bone. Okay, and here's our frontal sinus. Okay, we'll turn around here. You can see part of the sphenoid bone here with the sphenoid sinus. Okay, we can see part of the ethmoid bone here. Here's the crista galli, the cribriform plates. Okay, and the cribriform plates would have in the intact brain would have the olfactory bulb sitting right here and the olfactory nerves traveling through, and that's what these little structures here in yellow represent, are the olfactory nerves. Okay, and here's the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid right here. And here's another section of the frontal sinus. Okay, so now that we've got our bones kind of oriented, we can start looking at the orbit here. And the orbit is the space in the skull where the eye is found. And we can see the eye here. And we're going to look at it kind of as it's sitting here in the orbit right now. So here's the actual orb of the eye. You can see the fibrous tunic of the eye as we're looking at it. The sclera, which is the white portion of the fibrous tunic. This is the tough, fibrous portion that helps hold the shape of the eye and actually gives places where these extrinsic eye muscles can attach. Okay, there are 4 rectus muscles that attach to the eye: superior, medial. Let me turn it around here so you can see a little bit better. Superior, medial, inferior, and lateral. Okay, and they're kind of at the compass points of the eye. And then we have 2 muscles that attach at angles to the eye: the superior oblique and the inferior oblique. And those are the muscles that really give us our angular movements of our eyes. Okay, so all together, those 6 muscles are the extrinsic eye muscles. 4 of the 6 are innervated by the oculomotor. The nerve, the only 2 that aren't, are the lateral rectus, which is innervated by the abducens nerve. That's because this nerve is on the lateral rectus, which abducts the eye. That's why it's the abducens nerve. Okay, and the other one that's not innervated by the oculomotor is the superior oblique. Okay, and that's because the superior oblique goes through this little hook, and that hook is called the trochlea, and so the nerve associated with this muscle is the trochlear nerve. Okay, the others are all again by the oculomotor nerve. Okay, so we looked at the sclera, which was our tough outer portion. This one is opaque, so you can't see through this part of the fibrous tunic. When you go anteriorly though, we have the cornea. The cornea is part of the fibrous tunic, but it is clear. So this allows light to move into through there so that you can get it into the eye. Okay, now we have a layer that we're going to peel off here now. So we're taking off the sclera. And now we can see the vascular tunic, okay, which a large part of it here is the choroid. And the choroid is this dark portion that you see. And it's dark because it's there to absorb light rays after they've passed through the retina. Okay, so you don't have light images rebounding inside your eye. Okay, the other portion that you can see easily here is the iris. That is the colored portion of the eye. And this is all muscles. okay, that are controlled by your autonomic nervous system. Okay, and that's what the parasympathetic component of the oculomotor nerve is helping you control, is your pupillary dilation. Okay, so if you have sympathetic influence, which would be coming from another source, that would make the pupil dilate. The parasympathetic component constricts the pupil to the appropriate amount of light that's coming in. Okay, and this opening here in the center of the iris is the pupil. Okay, so our idea here is that the light is coming through the cornea. It's coming through an appropriately sized pupil, again, controlled by the iris. Let's open up again. And when we turn this piece over, we can see the internal area here. This is the posterior part of the iris. Okay, and then we can see this area here. And much of this is composed of the ciliary bodies. Okay, and the ciliary bodies are also muscles. And they have little suspensory ligaments attached to them. And those ligaments go to this structure, which is the lens. And our light has come in through the pupil, it hits the lens, and this is the structure that focuses the light on the retina. Okay? So if I took the lens out and put it here like this, okay, here's our pupil, light coming through the lens, and this kind of tan or peach colored structure that you see here is the retina. Okay, and you can see that there's a little dot that's in purple here. That is the fovea, and that's part of a structure called the macula lutea on the retina. That's the place where we have our highest cone density. So that's the place where we focus images when we're trying to do detailed observation and color vision.